When driving under the rain, you should always slow down a bit, whether at night or during the day, but at night it's even more important since visibility is reduced. The heavier the rain, the more you should slow down. The wipers will sometimes create a smearing on the windshield, which added to the ambient lights and the lights from other vehicles makes it harder to see. For that reason, you should clean both your wipers and your windshield regularly, especially before rainy days. Don't clean them with your fingers, since the grease on them can leave smears on the windshield. Clean your wipers with a clean damp cloth, preferably soaked with windshield washer. They can get pretty dirty over time, since it's not something people clean regularly. Now leave your wipers raised, you'll see why in a minute. To clean your windshield, you could use some window cleaner, but you already have some windshield washer fluid in the car. That's what it's called after all, windshield washer, so you can use that instead. And that's why we left the wipers raised, so that when we spray the fluid on the windshield, they won't wipe it away. Spray the windshield by pulling towards you on the wiper lever a few times, then wipe it off. A good thing to use for that is a newspaper, but you can use anything that does the job. By the way, windshield washer fluid and a clean cloth is something that you should have in your vehicles at all times. If you forgot to clean them and if the rain is light, don't put your wipers in the continuous position if not necessary. Put them in intermittent mode instead of continuous mode, the smearing will disappear faster. Rain will tend to accumulate on the other windows too, and where it's worst is on the side windows and mirrors. So something you can use is rain repellent. You can Google side mirror rain repellent and you'll find a range of products that you can either spray or wipe, and that should help with keeping your windows and mirrors cleaner in the rain. You can also use some on your windshield, look for windshield rain repellent. Also, the reflections of lights on the asphalt makes intersections with traffic lights harder to see, especially yellow lights, since they blend in with the street lights. Not really in this case, since the street lights are higher, but in some cases they do. So always be looking for reference points to spot where the intersections are. Bus stops, the rounded edge of the sidewalk, anything that can give you a hint of where the intersection starts. The glow that disappears on the side of sidewalks can also give you a good idea that you're approaching an intersection. This is all very obvious for experienced drivers, but students sometimes have a problem with that. Also, like I said in the first video of this series, you can look for reflections on parked cars and on the ground to see if cars are approaching at intersections. When looking for reflections on the ground, you'll see them better when the ground is wet, since the lights reflect better off the water. One of the animals that are the most involved in vehicle collisions are deer, and it's at night that they are the most active. What you should do in the event one pops out in front of you is hard to determine, because you never know how they'll come at you. The reaction most people will have is to swerve, but that could be dangerous in many ways. First, the deer might move in the same direction as you do when you try to avoid it. Second, these animals often move around in groups, so you could hit another one. You could hit an oncoming vehicle, a tree or whatever other obstacle, fall into the ditch and so on. So the best thing you can do is to prevent. Turn on your high beams if it's safe to do so. Their eyes will give a strong reflection, so it'll help you see the animal from further away. Reduce your speed if needed, and always be scanning the sides of the road, especially when you see panels like this one, which indicate you're in a zone where there's a higher probability that you'll see some crossing the road. If you're driving on a highway with 3 lanes or more, try to stay in one of the middle lanes if allowed by your local laws. In this case, the center one. That'll leave you more room to see them and react. Also be careful when approaching curves, since you can't see what's on the other side. Be especially aware in the months from October to December, because that's mating season for them. And when they're looking for love, they're more distracted and tend to be less aware of what's going on around them. Well, that's one thing they have in common with us humans, isn't it? If you have a deer in your headlights situation, where the deer will just stay there looking at you and won't move at all, you might be tempted to turn off your lights to stop blinding them. But that could be obviously very dangerous because you become barely visible to other drivers. So try flashing your high beams and honking a few times, that might work. And by the way, if you happen to hit one, you'll need to inform the authorities. Failure to do so might lead to hefty fines and lots of demerit points in some places. Same goes for other large animals like moose, bears, and so on. Even big dogs. And talking about dogs, you'll see some of them also at night, as well as cats, especially in residential areas. For some reason, they tend to come out often at night, so be aware, be safe, and thanks for watching.